So there have been quite a few interesting Apple developments over the past few days, and we're gonna cover not one, not two, but 5 interesting stories. Starting off with Siri 2.0. Mark Gurman claims in his latest Power On newsletter that Apple is working on a pretty big Siri upgrade. Essentially, Apple is looking to replace the "Hey Siri" command with just Siri in order to make it more natural. So that's great, but at the same time, it is also a very challenging thing to do because, well, you're simply gonna get more accidental triggers. For example, if someone simply says Cindy, or if someone specifically mentions Siri. So she will need to be smart enough to understand which triggers are accidental and which ones are not. But I do think that this is a great move just to make Siri a bit more, I don't know, a bit more like a human instead of a voice assistant. If you take a look at all the other assistants, Google uses the "Hey Google" command. Bixby uses the "Hey Bixby" command. Cortana also uses the "Hey Cortana" command. So all of them use the "Hey," insert name here, command, aside from Alexa, fun fact, because Alexa simply has Alexa. There's no "Hey" in it. So Apple is definitely not going to be the first to implement this. And speaking of implementing this, according to Mark Gurman, Apple will be releasing this update to Siri in 2023 or even 2024, depending on how it goes. But yeah, I would definitely love to hear your thoughts on this, if you think that this is a big upgrade to Siri, and if you think that this will make an impact, a positive impact, as to how you actually interact with Siri. Now, the second story, this is actually a very big one. Apple has paused almost all hiring globally. And this has been reported by The Insider as well as Bloomberg. According to Bloomberg, most jobs outside of research and development have been paused. So all the standard hardware engineering and software engineering jobs are fully paused now, with Apple not intending to reopen those positions until possibly even September 2023. And that's the only new hires that Apple will be making will be for those working on new devices. So likely the Apple mixed reality headsets or any other new products that Apple plans on launching. So why is this such a big issue? Well, the thing is, Apple's looking to cut down on costs. They just haven't been as profitable in 2022 as they were in 2021. And they will be even less so in the future. And that's because if you've been following Apple's latest financial reports, the Mac sales have dropped significantly. So in 2020, they were really high thanks to the M1 models. Then in 2021, they were also very high thanks to the new redesigned MacBook Pros. And in the first half of 2022, they were also pretty good thanks to the redesigned MacBook Air. But now, since we're approaching the end and we haven't seen any new releases or redesigns, and in fact, we won't be seeing any new designs for the next couple of years, only spec bumps, well, the Mac sales will keep on dropping and dropping even more. And with everything that's going on in the world right now, people are simply not interested in upgrading even their phones or tablets every year. So yeah, there you go. That's pretty much why Apple's not making as much profit now as they were in 2021 or even 2020. Okay, number 3, we have the AirPods Max colors, the new colors. So we do know that there's not going to be any new Macs until 2023, and you can check out our latest video on that. Now, we also know that there's not going to be any new Apple products until 2023. This is based on what Tim Cook said in his financial report, that the current lineup that Apple has is already set for the holidays. Now, I was thinking that maybe that just refers to like the products. We could still see some new colors. So I was expecting to see at least some new colors of the AirPods Max, which have been rumored, by the way, for a really long time before Christmas. However, Apple has now updated the banners in the stores for the holiday season, and guess what? They're still advertising the same exact AirPods Max colors as they have now. So that means no new colors, no new anything until probably just March 2023. 4, speaking of the AirPods Max, there's actually an ongoing issue with the active noise cancellation on both the AirPods Max and the original AirPods Pros. Essentially, lots of people have been reporting that their AirPods Max and the original AirPods Pros have received an update which actually made noise cancelling significantly worse than it used to be before the update. Some were saying that it's simply a placebo effect and it's not true, but in fact, sadly, it is true. We know this based on Artings' report, which confirmed that the latest update does in fact make active noise cancelling worse on the AirPods. So I think the question that you guys probably have now is this something that Apple made on purpose, or is it simply a bug that Apple will likely fix with the next update? Well, it's actually none of these two. In fact, they were apparently forced to make this change. There's this Reddit post that goes into a lot of detail in terms of what's been happening behind the scenes with Apple, active noise cancelling, the AirPods, and just patents in general. Do give it a read, it's really interesting, but long story short, there's actually a patent dispute ongoing, and Apple's currently being sued by a patent troll who bought Jawbone's intellectual property after the company went bust, including the noise cancelling patents that they used to have. So this patent troll sued Apple, and Apple had to find workarounds to still, have noise cancelling on their AirPods, which is why the noise cancelling is now worse, because those workarounds had to do something to avoid the patents, and they just simply don't work as well as they used to. Now, it looks like the AirPods Pro 2s, they do bypass that thanks to some hardware changes. So it looks like this only applies to the AirPods Max and the original AirPods Pros. And I also think that this is a good reason why the AirPods Pro 2s took 3 years to be released. Okay, number 5, Apple's industrial design chief, Evans Hankey, is leaving. And this is something that came out about 2 weeks ago, but I did think that it was really important to mention and give my thoughts on this. Because she's been Johnny Ive's replacement since 2019, and the fact that she's leaving without any specific reason given is strange. Now, she will still be working with Apple until a replacement is found, but yeah, she's been involved in all the recent Apple designs over the past few years. An exception would be the M1 iMac that's apparently been designed by Johnny Ive. That was his last project. But it appears that all the other Macs released and all the other Apple products, including the 2021 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros, the Mac Studio, the Studio Display, the 2022 M2 MacBook Air, the iPhone 14s and 13s, and the new 10th generation iPad, all of those were something that she was heavily involved in design-wise. Now, I gotta be honest, I'm not really a massive fan of the new 2021 MacBook Pro redesign, or the 2022 MacBook Air for that matter. I much prefer the previous designs, as the MacBook Pro, for example, was thinner and lighter, even though on paper it wasn't, but it gave you the illusion that it was. Of course, the MacBook Air had that iconic wedge-shaped design, so I do prefer what Johnny Ive did, although these new designs are definitely more functional. So I do feel like more recently Apple has been focusing on functionality than aesthetics. I just kind of wish that they did both. So I'm definitely curious to see what's going to happen in the future, who's going to take over, and if that means that we'll get to see even more design changes inside of Apple moving forward. Let me know your thoughts on this switch and which approach do you prefer? Evan's approach or Johnny Ive's approach of focusing more on design and less so on functionality. And number 6, Apple has increased the prices of their services globally. For example, a family Apple One subscription is now $3 more, or here in the UK, £3 more, which is a pretty considerable increase, I would say. I'm probably gonna unsubscribe from Apple One just because I'm not really using all that it offers. So yeah, let me know in the comments what do you guys think about this and also everything else that I covered in this video. And definitely subscribe for more Apple news in the future. I'm Daniel, this has been ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.